You're listening to a TGM production.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, performing stand-up comedy. It's the one and only Tom Mason. Thank you. It's just Tom Mason, not Tom Mason. I sound like I'm some rapper DJ. Tom Mason. It's time for some comedy. Whoop whoop. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time for some comedy. It's time for some comedy. Yes, welcome to Talkative, my brand new stand-up comedy show. I've never done audio stand-up before, where I don't visually record it. I'm a very physical person, so let's see how long the jokes last. It's going to be an incredible show tonight. Sound like I'm at a rock concert. Rock on! You want to hear some of my best bits? No, I don't. I want to hear your new stuff, mate. Yeah, your newer material, not your old stuff. I'm not. I'm here for Harry Hill and the Greats, not Harry Hill. Which, I'll be honest, all of Harry Hill is the Great. So you're not really gonna get much battle axe. But we obviously digress. I've got my third and final work in progress show for my other visual tour, visual show coming soon on Twitch and YouTube. So why, Delilah, do why, Delilah, bada boo. Why they called talkative? Well, they always say it's good to be talkative. Who says that? Every academic you've ever gonna meet? Probably. Hopefully. I don't know actually. I don't know if an activist would personally say being talkative is good, because everyone's got their own opinion on how to be talkative and whether or not the art of the talk and art of the tiv is good. So, like, if you want to do stand-up comedy, free budding stand-ups out there, I would say being talkative is a good thing, right? It's a tremendous thing. It's one of those things that you sort of need to. But the question is, who was the first person to step out into this world, Earth, and go, me need to speak now? Me speak now. No, you speak later. No, me speak now. No, you speak later. I tell you, me speak now. No, you speak later. And it's one of those things, it's like, who was the very first thing to speak? Was it Jim, the alpaca? Was it Gally, the elephant? Or was it Jeremy, the caveman? Me, caveman. Caveman, me. Me man cave. Yes. Was it me man cave, or was it you know man cave? The cavemen were early humans, right? Were they the first to speak? Because, as we know, languages exist. Dun, dun, dun. Yes, languages exist. So what does that mean for the spoken word? Well, from what I can gather, it means nothing for the spoken word. Because the spoken word, again, as I've said, is spoken. So if you've got a spoken piece of word, then who is the first person to speak? Well, you've got to ask yourself that question, and that's the thing. So I don't know anything about history. I don't know anything about the history. So, who was the first person to speak? Was it Kevin? And I think, and if you had to imagine, how Kevin would speak for the very first time. This is how it would go. Oh, 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 early, oh, oh. And that's early man. Now, then from the you have to expand the word, right? Expand it to the next phrase. The next phrase. Hello. Now, if an turned into a hello, how does language work then? Bonjour. If there's a French caveman, bonjour. Or I think Spanish, hola. Which is a Welsh caveman. Now, which is how are you in Cornish? It's a Cornish caveman. English. That's an English caveman. America? No, because it wasn't called America when the cavemen were caving around. Because that's what you learn if you learn early history. You learn that a caveman isn't really a caveman, right? So you've sort of got to think to yourself, well, okay, then if language now exists, who developed the language and went, right, okay, this is the language we're going to speak, this is how we're going to speak it, and this is when we're going to speak it. Someone out there must have gone, right, okay, early man, you speak early. That must be a language. The language people out there must go, right, okay. So if you're early man, you must speak early man, which is also a name of an Aardman film, Early Man, which I think, personally, is it's a fun film. But you have to think to yourself, well, who is Early Man? He's a man that gets up early. And the one question is there a such thing as early woman? Yes, but obviously that probably doesn't sound as right as early man, early woman. So it's they probably have to abbreviate it to early person because it saves words from not sounding historically as good because you've got historical words. You've got historical words! As in historical language, I assumed someone went, early woman? That woman that wakes up early? I don't really like the word early man, to be fair. I mean, yeah, personally, in 2026, I don't agree with the word early man either. Because I just think, what's early about them? Yes, they're the first type of man, but what makes that early? And what makes that allowed to be early? You've got to ask yourself the question, what allows that to be early? If you really want to know what allows it, right? That's the question that most people want to know the answer to. What makes early man early? And what makes it acceptable to be that, right? And you always come down to the process of, but what if the man wasn't early? Now, because of talkative and because people love to be the one that just talks and talks and talks and talks, you've got to say to yourself, well, that is why radio exists. That is why podcasts exist. And that's why stand-up comedy exists, because of the word of talking. And you sort of get TV from talking. If you really look at an action film, it's really, no, you blow up that building. 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 Like an argument. Like an old age pensioner's argument. No, 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 you get the last bomb and biscuit. No, you get the last bomb and biscuit. No, you get the last bomb and biscuit. And yesterday, which is Thursday, the 23rd of July 2026, the brand new selection of episodes of the Canadian Traitors came out, right? And the Canadian Traitors is, we're on the third series. In the UK, we haven't seen series 1 or 2. And it's one of those shows that's trying to be more spooky than any other version of the Traitors, because the Traitors in Canada is set in a mansion house type thing, like an old manor house, right? So it's not set in a castle like UK and America. So you've sort of got a different dynamic. She's an actor, the host, so she's trying to be all dramatic and actory, which personally I think that's a good thing because you want to be more dramatic, you want to be more with it, you want to be like, yes, you're spooky, a bingo. So it's when you want to summon them to the back garden, there's a gravestone. Why the back garden a gravestone? Graveyard, sorry. I have no idea why the back garden is a graveyard, but it is a graveyard, and I don't think we'll ever find out the true reason why, because do we really want to know? Do you really want to know why the traitors is in a graveyard? Do you really want to know? Really? No. And so she's trying to make it more spooky. She's trying to be more sinister. Now, the many masks, as you've seen, the little silvery, and golden masks, if you've ever seen the traitors, right? In this version, they have been named as the Betrayal. Now, calling them the Betrayal is a good name, and that's what I'm going to call them from now on. But if you watch the UK version, the American version, Australia, New Zealand, whatever, right? 9 out of 10 times, the people are dressed head to toe in a cloak, just like the traitors are. So they're all in clothing with the hoods up, and they're like walking around, and then what occurs from that is they're at the conclave, is what they're calling it in their own version, and some people just call it the turret. Some people say conclave. It depends on what type of building you're actually in for your version. So you sort of get this feeling that you're in like sort of a horror film. They pick the traitors, right? You've got them picked. Now at this point, there's the two traitors. Everyone's been summoned outside. Everyone's been blindfolded. You've got the betrayal. They've just walked out, not in a cloak, but in jeans, t-shirt, and jewelry. It's like, what? Yes. Right. Okay. So we want to produce a English Canadian version of the traitors. Please can we sort of organise this, please? Can we organise this? What do you mean? We'll be organising this. Um, So the betrayal are walking. All the players, I'm blindfolded. The traitors get unmasked. The music's playing. Ding, 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 and the traitors are walking menacingly. One woman looks a little bit more chipper than the other. One looks like she really don't want to be there. The other one's like, oh yeah, I want to be here. So they're walking. And then they stop speaking. And now they start using gestures. There's a woman from the distance, shivering, going... and it cuts back to her talking and I go... my hand knows it. My hand thinks it's... my hand knows it's not real, but my body thinks it's real. I don't know what I'm doing. And she's forgotten it's a TV show. She's forgotten it's reality telly, right? She's forgotten she's in Canada. Bear it in mind. Bearing in mind, I keep forgetting they're in Canada because I assume everyone would have a stronger Canadian accent. But I think it's because it happens when I watch Australian programs. When you watch it for enough time, you forget about the accent. Okay, so she's there shivering in the corner. and so then the host gets their hands up in the air like propellers to get all the betrayal to do the jobs, right? And so they walk over to this first person. Like, Lord Sugar, you're fired! No, you're fired, you're hired, you're fired, fired. Right? So, the woman reaches her arms up and points at the first victim. And the host is thinking, is this murder? Recruit? Or are you just not going to bother with them? And then, she shakes her head side to side to say, no, I'm alright, thanks, I want them to go away. So then she does it from her arms, the host, against the betrayal in the jeans and t-shirts, with a mask on, so you can see their hair and everything. Not even wearing a hat. Not even wearing a hat. You would assume, you would have hoped, that at least they'd be wearing a hat. I, for one, would at least hope they were wearing a hat. Because I think, personally, that's what you need for a good, I think that's what you need, yeah? You have to wear a hat, right? You have to wear a hat, at least. Because if you don't wear a hat, then it will make no sense. Because you're not really menacing without a hat on. You're not really menacing without a hat on. So, I think that it's worth at least wearing a hat. Now, I've been doing stand-up for a good few years now, since 2022 to be precise, and I've learned a lot. I'm improving, and I'm improving, and I'm improving. And doing this show, Talkative, proves it, because I'm improving and improving every time I record new bits for this, because the way I do stand-up on YouTube, on Twitch, because of the circumstances, I'm not in venues, I'm not in places, so right now, I'm in the studio, I film the YouTube and Twitch stuff, and because of that, it means that if I'm not happy with the sort of stand-up I'm doing, I can stop the recording, save that, so I've got that evidence. So, let's say if I did the final 15 minutes and I was really happy with it, I can save that, or if I do the first 20 minutes, I'm happy with that, I can edit it together to make sure it's the best of the best, and then later on, I can come back to it and go, right, I need to do some more, but I need to work out how do I make it better and how do I make it like my other sort of material, right? So you learn and you improve, and I think being talkative, you'll be able to rapidly say, and I think that sort of works really well. Now, and you have to sort of work out how do you change the topics and how do you make it alternative. In audio, how do you make it alternative? In audio, how do you make it alternative? Well, to make stand-up comedy alternative in audio, you do one thing. I recently did some stand-up comedy on YouTube, and I had to use something called Adobe Enhanced, which is a software website where it cleans up your audio. But I was using something called Egg Shakers. And because it's not as loud as my voice, it thought, oh wait, these egg shakers are in the background. They thought it was this, which, unironically, I'll have to use the Adobe thing again, but it sounds like this. So you can just about hear it. And they thought that was background, but I was really doing this. Pom bears. Pom bears. Pom bears. Pom bears. I was on a Twitch stream recording a live version of my podcast, Chatterbox. And someone said, what's your favourite type of crisp? And I said, Pom bears. 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 And then someone said, you could call them Tom Bears. Tom Bears. And I thought that was very alternative. Because what makes it alternative, really at that point, is the fact that the egg shakers are being shaken like an egg. So it's more... Well, I mean, the shaker inside isn't really the egg. What's on the inside is the thing that makes it sound like an egg. So you got egg shakers, and then you shake it, and shake it, and shake it, shake it. And then you torch on to do some disco lights. Then you're in one of those raves that I've never actually been to. And so you're like, oh, egg shakers! Boogie Town! And then it's like, wow! We really are at Boogie Town. Do Boogie Town. Boogie Town. Boogie Town. And then you get one of those maracas. And then you're like, okay. Let's call that a day now, shall we? Let's call it a day. Now, because of speech, and because I've got a northern accent, apparently, I wouldn't know, because I don't know my own accent. Right? So it could be northern A up. And there is 2 words I've discovered recently that are my favourite words. First of all, blue cheese. I'll say it again. Blue cheese. I'll say it again. Blue cheese. What's your favourite cheese? Blue cheese. Blue cheese. Blue cheese. Blue cheese. It's a blue. It's a blue, but you have to say blue cheese. As if you say blue, 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 blue. It sounds like you're saying boo, not blue. So you have to go blue cheese, blue cheese, blue cheese, blue cheese. You have to say it with a clap as well, because the egg shakers doesn't work on this one. Blue cheese, blue cheese, blue cheese. Blue cheese, blue cheese, blue cheese, blue cheese. And I learnt this because I was recording a song about different types of cheese. And I said gorgonzola, which is another good word, but it isn't as good as blue cheese. Blue cheese. Then, when I was doing research for this album, I found that another good word, which you can't say properly, is woof. Woof. See, I'm trying to say woof. Right. I went to the door, and I opened the door and went, woof, woof, woof. Trying to say it normally is the tricky bit. You try to say woof, woof. But wait, the way it comes out of your mouth is woof, woof. Sounds like you're barking, which is what the sound really is trying to say. But I'm trying to say it woof, 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 woof. Yes, it becomes a rather annoying noise because eventually, it stops being an actual word. Woof. Oh, I've said it! Woo! Yeah, I've never actually said that word normally before since I discovered it was a word that I quite enjoy. I never thought in my days would I be able to say that word normally, right? And I just did. So I am rather I am not overly, but I am very much impressed that I managed to say the word without any single problem, which has got to be a round of applause, Mate Bowman, and that's what we will do. A round of applause, and a round of applause, and once more, a round of applause! Because everyone deserves a round of applause! I have a lot of nemesis in my life. First, stairs. Second, curse you pigeons! It all started on one fateful day. You would think that pigeons, oh, what a sweet creature! Oh, what a sweet pigeon! Oh! No. We were walking. Me brother, and me father. We were walking. We were casually talking. We were walking, talking. I'll say it again. We were walking, talking. Woo! Walking, talking. Yes. We were walking, talking. And then we look up. We look next. The vandals have stricken. The pigeons have started their nemesis journey. Pooh on my brother. They became my arch nemesis. My rivals, my evils, my competition. From that day forth, I became the pigeon distractor. And what that meant was, every day, every single day, I see a pigeon, I would either chase it, come on, get back, get out of it, or I would walk up to it, very slowly, very quietly, and go, to shoo it off. Because that's what you want. That's what you need to get rid of your nemesis. I mean, to get rid of stairs, you have to get a chisel and a hammer, and then you have to realise, what am I going to replace it with? Because I can't replace it with whatever I want to replace it with, because whatever I want to replace it with is quite dangerous. So you have to go, well, how do I do this? That was at the age, I think I was about 7 or 8. I'm now 22. And my quest is still to destroy the pigeons. Now, without saying too much, I have created a song, a chant, near evil wicked spell that will destroy, near kill, near damage the representation of pigeons. No, I shall not be killing them. No, I shall not be whacking them. But yes, they'll be smited down. Now, we've got to give a caveat. Because in our song, in our musical melody, there is a caveat to this. There once was a film with pigeons. An animated film where the pigeons were all wore people from the war, because obviously pigeons were heroes in the war. I mean, they were carrier pigeons. Carrier pigeon! Carry that pigeon! Pigeon, carry! And they were all in this war. Now, in this film, it's got famous actors in it. Ewan McGregor. Yes, the bloke that does the cycle back things. We might do something else. We might do a big franchise, and I can't stand. Can you guess what it is? Can you? No? Okay. Anyway, so they're in this film, and that's the only time I feel that pigeons are hilarious, because the DVD has bloopers behind the scenes. And what you've got, right, is you've got pigeons, and walking by my and they say their line's wrong. But someone has spent the last, I don't know, so many months animating. I'll say it once more. Animating. I'll say it once more again. Animating. I'll say it once more. Animating the pigeons bloopers. Someone's job to animate the pigeon bloopers. Again, animating pigeon bloopers. Who thought that was a worthwhile thing to do? Animate the pigeon the bloopers from the film. No blokes in the studio going, oh, bro, can I say it again? No, it's can I say it again? That's my impression of a pigeon. So, pigeons are my worst enemy. How do we destroy enemies? Smite them down with our thoughts. Chase them and say, boo. Chase them and go, boo. 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 And then they fly off. And you never see them again. Sadly. The birds. So they return. And that's our problem. That's our big problem. The pigeons return. And what we want is for them to disappear. Not return. But sadly, that never is the case. Being talkative's quite good, yeah. If you can string out a sentence for an hour, talk. Let's think of a topic. Let's talk. Talk. But the problem is if you say to the talkative person, excuse me, and they go, yes, are you very talkative? What does that mean? Well, you talk a lot. Are you a chatterbox? Are you a giggler? Are you a chatty Cathy? What's the chatty Cathy? Well, from what I can gather, it's a woman called Cathy that relatively sounds like the word chatty. Alright. You know, like, staring at, stalking Steve. What? Staring Steve. No. And so you say to the talkative person, right, mate, you alright? Do you want to come and do this thing? You say to them, right, do you want to come and do stand-up comedy? And they go, because they're talkative and they want to be the life of the song of the party. So they walk on, they go, please welcome to the stage, Jeff! Woo, hello. And they breathe, they don't say anything. They struggle to speak. They struggle to say the words and like... Then they've got a hand on the cheek going... And they put their hand over their mouth, right, like Bane, and they go... And they say, help me, get me out of here. And then the person told us to stand and walks on. Oi, you're right there, mate. I'm so sorry, audience. Come on with me. What I need you to do before we can leave, could you just shout these words? I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here. I'm talkative. Get me out. I'm talkative. Get me out of here. See? You can do it. And that's how you get a talkative person to do stand-up, because the audience laugh now. Yeah. Some of them are laughing like hyenas. Imagine that. laughing like a hyena. So Jimmy Carr's got his laugh. Oh, 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 oh. A hyena's got his laugh. That's a monkey. Imagine a monkey doing a podcast. That'll be like 12 episodes. Called the show. And speaking of banana monkeys, some monkeys seem to not like bananas. If you say to monkey from the PG Chips advert, not the chimps, not the chimps, not the original chimps, but the monkey. Yeah, monkey. Only used to live with Johnny Vegas and then moved in with Emily Atack. You know him, who swapped voices from whatever his voice was before and to Ivor Graham. And so that monkey, yeah, PG Chips monkey, he really doesn't like bananas. He likes a good cup of joe, cup of tea, milky brew. He loves these cup of teas. But I was watching Portrait Artist of the Year, Australia, hosted by comedian Luke McGregor. Now, there's a positive side to all this, right? You've got to think about the positives here. It is a calm, gentle show. So you don't think I'll be over the moon when I found out it was streaming online in the UK on Amazon Prime Video. But yes, let's set the scene. The day was Thursday, the 23rd of July, 2026. I'm watching the Canadian version of The Traitors, and on my phone, because I'm waiting for something to upload, on my phone, I see a trailer for Series 2 of the Australian Portrait Artist of the Year. I say to myself, Tom, do we know if the UK, if the version of Australia is on in the UK? We look it up. It says, it's on Prime Video, the Google says. I go, oh! I click it and go, oh! And I fall off my chair. I fall down my chair. You hear the noise of me falling down the chair. I've fallen off the chair. I'm on the floor going, ah! It's on. It's on. Oh, jeez. Artists. I can't draw. I like drawing, but I can't draw. Got some art on my website, but nothing to behold. Figure of 8 Pete. Best work ever. I'm on the floor going, it's on. It's on. So I press play. I pause. Canadian Traitors going, hold on, Canada. I've got to go to Australia. I got bear with. So I'm on the floor, waiting for my thing to export. You can hear a fan going, and I'm on the floor. And literally, I'm on the floor. As I'm saying, I'm on the floor going, right. And I fall even further, like I just did then. And I'm sat there going, oh, this is so exciting. And I watch it, and they go, 3 amateur artists. There's another one with Luke McGregor who I'm not too sure about. 3 amateur artists and 3 very well known, very successful professional artists. They've won a couple of prizes that I've never heard of. So they're not like TV art. They're not like famous artists. If you think about it, you have to have. I think you have to have a famous artist. I mean, to say they're professional artists, you have to be famous if you're gonna say that, or unless just call them an artist. There was someone skiving off school to be on the show, but so they're painting these things, right? And I think it's Celia Pecora, an amazing Australian comedian, who I love to interview. But she sat there, right? She sat there in a pose, doing her thing, sat in a chair, because they're all in these pots and sat in this chair. So she sat in a chair. This woman, and I can't remember where she's from because her accent didn't seem overly Australian. But again, I've been watching it for quite a while at this point, so the Australian accent had sort of left me. So we're sat there, right? I'm sat there in a sense, and I'm watching it, and she's flicking this paintbrush, right? Flicking at the canvas. Flick, and it's going everywhere. You look at the painting, That's Celia Bacori's face! Yes, it is! And I can tell it's her, but they're all flicking. And it goes onto the set. She's like, oh, she's got to get her data wipes out. Right? And it's probably not data wipes, it's probably a non-branded version, because it's on television. Non-advert television, so it's probably non-branded. So she sat there, she's wiping it. She wipes it. She wants to try to clean. Then, at the end, they say, right, artists, please turn your easels. And they turn their easels, right, to turn them. Now, at this point, Celia Bacori's job is to take one of them home. This woman that had been flicking paint on the canvas, getting on the wall of the set, made a giant version of the face. The portrait was, let's just say, massive, so big. I thought, A, how do you get the canvas in the building? Because, yes, it's an abandoned warehouse type thing, but really, how are you going to get it through that door? Because the doors are very, like, you're going to have to bend over. If you're really tall, you're going to have to bend down and go, alright, I'm going to have to get through here. But it's like, got the massive thing. And if Silly Bacora says, right, I'll take that one, I'm thinking, how on earth is she going to get it home? How is she going to take that home? Because that's probably the trickiest thing about all this, is how on earth is she going to get that home? The answer is, she's not going to get it home. Someone's going to have to go, right, come on. We're going to send it to UPS. No. Get another delivery, people. We'll get the production to do it. Celia, where do you live? Right, we're going to drive it to your house. But the question, now you're going to get out of the building. Is getting in and out of the building is my question. Is it murder? No. Is it robbery? No. It's the fact that the detective amateur. Line of duty. You've got, who is A? Tucket. There's been a murder. Yep, let's find out what this murder is. Now, if you look closely at The Hairdresser Mysteries, a brand new crime drama on BBC One at 2 p.m. on a Friday. Right, okay. This is Cozy Crime 101. Now, let's have a look at what makes it cozy. Is she a professional detective? Does she work in the police? No way, Jose. Do the police really find her annoying? No, they usually do, but no, this one. What is her qualification? Well, there's Sally Phillips as the hairdresser detective. Hairdresser. She's a hairdresser that loves the 70s that also can solve a crime. Crime! A hairdresser. Solving crime. Yes, I do like the show, but a hairdresser. Solving crime. You've got to be honest. You can sense the stupidness about that, can't you? You can tell it's a hairdresser solving crime. Crime. A hairdresser solving crime. What more do you want from a hairdresser solving crime? I don't want a hairdresser to solve crime. I want a hairdresser to do hairdressing, thank you very much. Private PIs. Shakespeare and Hathaway. Fair enough. Because they're private PIs. It's a private detective. Yes. You've got a hairdresser. You've had a private detective. What do you want more? The private detective. Now I haven't got an issue once more with Hairdresser Mysteries. It's very fun. It's very interesting. It's 2 p.m. on a Friday. But if it was real life, I'd want the PA, private detective. Which I don't know why it's a PA. PI, private investigator. I do apologise. I'd rather have the private investigator than a hairdresser. Right? So, the clue in most cozy crimes are this. 1. The detective, the police, the person that's been given this job, is absolutely annoyed. Doesn't want anything to do with him and cannot stand the fact that they're really good at solving crime. Members of the public are really good at solving crime. They don't want that. They don't want someone really good at solving crime, do they? No. They want to solve the crime. They want to be the ones that solve crime. They love solving crime. Yes, I don't blame the police for love solving crime. We watch crime on the telly. Crime Watch. Yeah, that's the only real life crime thing I can think of. Oh, Scammers Interceptors or Murder 24/7. or police custody. 24/7. 24/7. 24 hours in police custody. Right. We love crime. And then, if someone said, I've got an idea for a drama, an amateur detective, right? Ludwig, which doesn't count as amateur detective because he's pretending to be his brother. So he's pretending to be a detective. David Mitchell, which is another good one. So I love cozy crime, I'll be honest. I love cozy crime, right? So I've got every avenue to have this opinion, because I love cozy crime. I know other comedians and comedy writers and comedy people that love cozy crime. Richard Osman, cozy crime in the world of books, right? You gotta think about it. Amateur detectives, but OAPs, old age pensioners, in a retirement village, right? Which Michael will tell if you've seen the film. Solving crime, the police don't want them to solve the crime. Sometimes, very rarely, the police are corrupt in those situations where the reason why they don't want the amateur sleuths to solve crime because the police is corrupt. But it's that particular officer, mind you, not the entire station at this fictional place. Now, if we want to break it down to some dodgy, cozy crime, you've got to look at your friend of mine, Midsummer Murders. Yes, Midsummer Murders. The crime that seemed so crimey. Who would want to live in that county in midsummer? Not me, not me, not me. Now, let's have a look. I need something. Now, let's have a look. So you've got, right? I'll be honest. I don't know why I'm doing this in an odd voice, but you've got to admit I've reached a level of annoyance that I've got to this voice. But I need to get back to my normal voice. So, you look at it really seriously. Whilst I'm on the floor, because I've fallen over, fell off a chair. If you really look at it, you've got murder, you've got robbery, and you've got normal other day crime. So, episode 1, there was a murder. Was it Jason in the bathroom with the sword? No! That's Cluedo. Because that's what the murders seemed like in the beginning with, right? Early midsummers. And felt like, and I'll be honest, felt like Cluedo. Felt like you were playing a game of Cluedo, but just on the telly. That was a quiz show, panel show once, I think, Cluedo. Or is it Who's Done It? Who's Done It with John Pertwee? Anyway, right? Years later, they're going, right, so we've done stabbings, we've done murder, we've done that, we've done this, we've done that. We've done 50-odd million crimes. What's going to be our next crime? Well, if I'm not mistaken, they got Martin McCutcheon, the actor, yeah. And they went, right, okay, so, she's in a store cupboard in the county Midsummer. She's in the store cupboard trying to get something. Ah! Death by cheese. Yes, they killed her with a wheel of cheese. Not just, probably slightly bigger than the cheese that they do at Cooper's Hill to do the cheese rolling. A British institution of sport that should be added to the Olympics. International people do come over to compete at the cheese rolling. Rolling down the road. Or as Edie McCready might say, rolling down the hill. A Ballamori-based gag. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha ha. So, why would you want to kill someone with a block of cheese? Well, let's look back at the hairdresser mysteries. Right? A woman got flattened by accident. So someone must have been lent on something and gone, "Woo! Sorry, I killed you with cheese. Hope you don't have a nightmare." Oh, you're dead. You don't want to have a nightmare. Now, cozy crime is crime that is not just cozy, but it's not traumatizing. So let's think, right? You watch any other crime drama, I can't think of one that's done it, but they have a horrific murder where they walk in and it's absolutely disgusting, blood everywhere, it's serious, it's horrific, and you just want to be sick looking at it, right? Then you've got cozy crime. That's someone's been murdered. A, you see the dead body. B, you don't see any blood. Wow. It means your nana can really enjoy it. And your nana at 2 p.m. can go, Darling, can you put on the telly? My crime song. Hairdresser Mysteries. Press play. She did it. Oh, of course she did. And you can play it at 2 p.m., 8 p.m., or whatever time you're lying. Look, an alibi, but whatever. Midsummer Murders is Cozy Crime. Miss Marple, BBC, ITV are both cozy. Cozy Crime is an amateur detective, amateur sleuth. Someone that isn't the real Jim. Only murdered in the building. Great a murder podcast. And that detective despises her. There is a podcast out there called Cozy Crime Time that justifies the fact that, well, I've not heard it yet because it's not come out, but they're going to be justifying, they said I interviewed one of the hosts. She said they're going to justify Morse is Cozy Crime. Apparently, Morse is a hybrid. Hybrid? How can you get cozy and dramatically dark? Oh, that's a killer. It's rather cozy, isn't it? No, it's really dark. Dark colour. Dark. Which means it's done in pitch black. But it's really sinister. What do you mean it's really... I said what I said. It's really sinister. But really? Yep. But we're trying to be cozy. We're trying to straddle between the two. Morse is trying to be the cozy one. And you, the killing, the death, the murder... It's supposed to be really dark. Really, 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 really dark. Why is it really, 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 really dark? Because it has to be to straddle between the two. So, there's a saying in life. Bears poo in the woods. Does he really? The question is, do bears really poo in woods? The answer is probably no, 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 no. Bears definitely do not poo in the woods. Why? Why would you assume a bear poos in woods? You wouldn't see a poo or a bear go for a poo in a portaloo, would you? Well, you could, actually. I don't know where you'll be, but you could see a bear having a poo in a portaloo. You could be going to a zoo and watching a bear poo in a portaloo. Like, portaloo, which always screams hilarity to me because whenever I think of portaloo, I think of this. Portaloo, Napoleon broke my Bonaparte. Portaloo, not a bit of my wanna do. Portaloo, loving is great as if I wanted to. So I always thought that Portaloo sounded a lot like Waterloo, right? Because you know what they say, the history broke on the shelf. It's hardly repeating himself. But sometimes when you're on the loo, it does repeat on yourself, right? It's one of those things. It always ends up repeating on yourself because you're like, oh, I really need the loo now. Oh, I really need the loo now. Oh, that's gone right through me. 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 And it's like, yeah, it's one of those things that you don't want to be talkative about, poo. Imagine that. Imagine just coming up to you and they say, oh, hello, how are you? I'm fine. Do you want to hear a fact about the global economy of toiletry pooing in the United Arab Emirates? No, I don't. Do you want to hear about the life cycle of a bear poo? No, I don't, thanks, mate. I don't want to know about the life cycle of a poo. It's one of the things on my bucket list I don't want to hear about. But I want to tell you about the lives. It's still fascinating. You know, they say do a bird poo in a wood. No, I don't know. Do they say that? No, they say bears poo in woods. Of course they do. But what about polar bear? Do you ever see a polar bear having a poo in a zoo? No, because that rhymes. That actually rhymes that time. Who knew that it would rhyme? Who knew? Who invented the rhyming words? Who invented rhymes? Who invented rhymes? Because they didn't have any time. Who invented rhymes? Because they didn't have any time. Who invented rhymes? Because they didn't have any. That mundane topic painting. Some people find it really interesting, but it's on the top 10 list. And it's like walking to a gallery. Here we have the Mona Lisa. It is a painting. It's made out of paint. Here we have Vincent van Gogh's The Flowers. It's a couple of flowers. Here we have Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night. If you look closely at the Starry Night, you'll see it reminds you of that episode of Doctor Who, because that's the most interesting thing about this painting. And Torga, welcome to the National Gallery of Galleries. Do not touch, do not throw, do not glue yourself, or do anything in here that isn't going to the toilet because there's bathrooms, wheeling about if you're in a wheelchair, or having a look at the painting. Ooh, that's nice art, isn't it? Ooh, that's nice. That's nice. But they're all like really boring, uptight things, right? But if you go to like an abstract one, hello, we're the gorillas, which I can't remember if that's really is their artist name. Right, we've strapped a banana to a wall. It's not their work, but the example. Right, we strapped a banana to a wall with gaffer tape, right? And we're gonna sell it. We're gonna sell it for about $1 million USD, American dollars, not Australian dollars, not anyone else's dollars, American dollars, right? Who wants it? Who wants it? 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, sold to the boat for $1 million squillion quid. And it's like, woo, woo, woo. I've done it. I've done it. I've done it. Woo! I've done it. I've done it. I've done it. Woo! And you're over the moon. You cockahoo. About the fact that you've done it. Woo, woo, woo. I've done it. I've done it. Woo! And you're over the moon. You're excited. And you just can't believe how gobsmacked it's made you as I've knocked into the microphone. I apologise. Oh, sorry. And so that is a fun thing. Then what that bloke did after he bought the banana, apparently, I don't know if this is fact. I don't know. But apparently, he then ate the banana. I mean, you spend all this money on a banana. Why then eat it? Anyway, so art in itself isn't generally the most interesting of topics. Watching a program about an artist, different story, because it's about the man, the woman, the person, not their work. It's about them. So, like, if you're watching a program about Beethoven, yes, Beethoven's the interesting bit, not his 81,927th symphony, which is easy for me to say. I nearly fell off my chair. It would have been absolutely hilarious, but I would have fallen off my chair because, really, I fall off my chair quite often. I don't know how much you know about this, but apparently, yeah, chairs are quite slippy. I don't know if you've ever witnessed a slippy chair, but I nearly fell off a chair once. I was sat on it, and I went a wee, and I realised that's because it was really slippy. It was a very, 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 very slippery chair. Because what they did was if I don't know, I think leather. I think leather makes a very slippy material, right? I think leather makes a very slippy material. I don't know who invented that. I don't know who decided. That was the point. But it's a very, very, very slippery material, right? It's one of those materials that you think, it's very slippy. Oh, very, very slippy. Woo! I nearly fell over. Woo! I nearly fell over. Woo! I nearly fell over. Yeah, everything works well if you add a drum and bass beat to it. Now, what I discover is that when you hiking, I discovered quite recently that you go on a hike going, right, darling, because it's usually a couple that go hiking, all friends, all families, or whatever. But someone says, so imagine it is a married couple, right, darling, and the nickname's darling, right? Imagine such a thing. Come on, darling, it's time We're going to go on a hike today. Do you want to come with? Well, no, you are coming with. Bring the dog, bring Chico. Chico. Oh, my name's Chico. And Chico is one of those, like a box, like a really massive sort of like hound. Hello, my name's Chico. And he's like one of those black, massive ones that you see, and they're always like really like a vicious sort of dog, right? They're not a friendly dog. They're a very vicious dog. And you have to get one of those metal chain leads because he's that vicious, right? Come on, Chico. And the boat says, come on, Chico. Let's go. Right, darling. Come on. And they've walked to this mountain, right? Let's call it Mount of Mountainous, right? So you get there, you're walking, right? And nothing. And the wife goes, look at that scenery. Isn't it so nice? And the boat goes, no, it's not nice at all. It's just green. And you get to the top of the mountain, right? You're at the very top of it. And I've done this before. I've been up one mountain in my life. I vow to never do it again, but you walk up to the top. You walk up to the very top, and you stood there at the very top, and you go, it's misty, it's cloudy, it's cloudy. There is no view. What? I've spent 3.5 hours walking up this mountain, and it's smog, right? Which is smog and fog, right? So I cannot see anything. I can make out a church in the distance. I can make out a place of worship in the distance, right? I think it's a church. I don't know. Just those places of worship are rather tall buildings anyway. They're the ones that you'll see in a helicopter quite easily, as well as a post office, apparently. Are you right there, no post office? Yeah, all right. Yeah. We're getting by. Post some letters. Oh, stop talking to me, Postman Pat, with your helicopter. And so you look down, and you're at this mountain going, oh, I'm going to fall off. Wah! Ooh! Trying to not fall off, because you're joking, and then you nearly do fall off. But luckily, you've got your really scary dog called Chico. Chico! All right, love, I'm Chico. I'm not friendly, because I'm Chico. And so you're like, right, okay. You look at the couple, right? He's never been to the gym before in his life because he's a data analysis. She is too busy being a fashion designer, right? So she makes clothing, right? There's a type of clothing where one day, like 3 months later actually, she then gets offered to be one of those guest judges on the Great British Sewing Bee because she's that type of fashion designer, right? So data analysis, fashion designer is going to be a guest judge on Great British Sewing Bee, and then they've got a dog that looks nothing. It's like a certain type of person match a certain type of dog, right? So if you look at Legally Blonde as a film as an example, Elle Woods suits that dog, right? No other dog would sort of work well for her, but she suits that dog. So if you think about it, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm a data analyst, I'm a fashion designer, my name's Chico, and Chico doesn't match them. It's like, what? You really? That really what we're going to do? Really? In 2026, the BBC One 7 PM show, The One Show, celebrates 20 years. Now, if you think about it, The One Show is where you interview celebrity guests like Diane Morgan or Sue Johnston, and then you also have Joe Swash being in the checkout at Tesco, or someone else, or another celebrity talking about football in the checkout at Tesco, or Sonia talking about Eurovision at a checkout in Tesco. Right? They love sending celebrities to checkout, but in the celebration week, as they were gearing up for the big 20, one of the presenters, Alex Jones, stated, I hate montages. And I was in all laughter. I couldn't control myself. I was laughing and 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 laughing. I couldn't stop laughing for like minutes because it's like only someone that's appeared on TV for that many decades, like Alex Jones, can say, I don't like montage. She's Welsh, and I'm not trying to do a Welsh accent. I'm just trying to do a different voice. It's my own. I don't like montages. Only someone like Alex Jones can say, I don't like montages. And I, personally, love a good montage. Usually, people love a good montage. My life on the internet, the last 11 years, I've been trying to make enough stuff. So because it's at Blue Peter, when you leave Blue Peter, you get do 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 boo, and whilst that's like supposed to be like dramatic music, whilst clips of yourself are on a replay, and it's like, I'm gonna miss Blue Peter, I'm gonna miss Blue Peter. It's like, you are? Well, that's a cracking montage. I'll say it again. That's a cracking montage. I absolutely adore a montage. And I've always wanted a montage like that. So I try and do interesting things. So I can get a montage. But Alex Jones was like, oh, she's got really nervous. And Roman Kemp says, you're alright. You don't like montages, don't you? No, I hate a montage. Why would you hate a montage, Alex Jones? We're not going to show you your footage when you're on S4C, the Welsh language version of Channel 4. We're not going to do that to her. But it just makes me laugh. Because not everyone has the right to say, I hate montages. I hate montages. But with a talkative show, like the one show, she's probably said stuff that she doesn't remember saying. It's like, oh, that's embarrassing. Or it's like when she actually says someone else's name, like, right, it's coming up on you and W. And then later on goes, I mean, you and Gold, 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 not you and W. You're right there, Mick. Come on, Michael. And he'd be like, oh, you should make that edit. Oh, not great, that is it? No, not great at all. And it's like, only if. It's a mistake you make, and it's never her fault for making that mistake. But it is a mistake. And so, not many people can say, I hate montages. So, there we have it. I'll leave you on this note. But doing this stand-up show, this hour-long stand-up show, has been absolutely incredible, right? Audio only. I've never done it before, and I think I've found a stepping stone to learn. I've learned that being talkative is fun. Talkative is amazing. At one point, I did drop the little box and it stopped recording halfway through, and I thought, really? I didn't know that it didn't like my words that much. It wanted to stop recording, so it adds to the comedy value there. Comedy valuing comedy errors, because we loved You've Been Framed. You've Been Framed! We loved that. But I think that doing stand-up comedy since 2022, since the age of 17, and I'm now 22, I've learned that comedy and stand-up comedy is so much fun, regardless of if you're doing it on stage at the Frog and Bucket, or if you're doing it at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, or if you're doing it live on Twitch, or if you're doing it pre-recorded for YouTube, or if you're doing it audio only to release on Spotify, Apple Music, Shazam, and YouTube. So it doesn't matter where you do it. It's all about, do you love the craft? Do you love the art of learning, practicing, and thinking, yeah, I can do comedy, and watching comedies, sitcoms, stand-ups, and learning, and going, I really want to do more comedy. I do comedy characters. I learn about comedy by doing comedy and watching comedy. And I just think that Talkative was the show that sort of made me go, right, okay. Now when I come to my other live stand-up show, the music we didn't ask for, I know how to improve that. I know where to go next with my third and final work in progress, because I've learned from doing this audio show the do's and don'ts, and I've learned that it's all in the cadence. It's the way you speak. It's the way you perform the jokes. not just the action you do, not just the movement you do. And I think that's made it really fun. So thanks for listening. Good night. You've been listening to Tom Mason. Thank you for listening. There's more stand-up comedy coming from Tom Mason over on his YouTube channel, Tom's Comedy Club, or on his Twitch, or on his, well, there will be bits of comedy humour on his Patreon, but that's another story for another day. Give it up again once more for Tom Mason!